to you?
Yes.
So I pushed him about the money again
Yeah.
and said we need to make a decision. So that's where all of this came from.
Okay. I wasn't too happy with the conversation.
So what we talked about and what came out to you, totally different. I found out what came out to you
After the fact.
after the fact.
Okay.
So what was said and what we don't want is to lose you two ways. You know what I mean? We don't want to lose a programmer and we don't want to lose an ME. So I would prefer if you just sit down and let's talk through it real quick.
Okay. Yeah.
I have Ron and Josh here, but this is important, and if you're not happy, we wanna know it before you decide you're just like, F this and hit the bill.
Yeah.
Cause we can fight for you, but only if we know, right? So,
Mhm.
where it is after the fact, so then,
Yeah.
you know, me and you were with Pete when he told you that. I told that to Jason, we
Mhm.
both been fighting for you for it.
Yeah.
So, we just want you to be transparent with us.
Yeah, because I was honestly really frustrated when Pete told me that he wants to wait a couple more months to May. That, you know, he wants to really see how I handle these, you know, some upcoming projects, wants to see some more project management out of me. Which, you know, I guess you can say, you know, I haven't run like a full Kaizen and such, but I do feel that, you know, I've gotten enough project management. I felt like he diminished a little bit the high amount of work that really went into standing up these high-end systems, and I think didn't fully recognize the amount of, you know, maybe I don't have the full, I'll say full project management resume on me like, you know, Atticus and Steven, but I feel like, you know, there's a very high amount of technical skills that I've developed that are not really easily replicable at the moment, and it was like really frustrating that, you know, after telling me that back in September, and then telling me he wants to wait another couple months to see if I actually deserve it was really frustrating.
So what the conversation, just in full transparency, what the
Yeah.
conversation was I thought that we needed to give you more, and we were gonna do more now, and then more in the summer.
Yeah.
Or we were just gonna do it all at once, right? So I opted to say, let's just do it all at once now. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Because I feel like you've been waiting a while and you probably would have taken that. So he said, he agreed with that, but then he said, let's talk to Aaron. He had to talk to Aaron. So after he talked to Aaron, he came back and said, well, I know the plan that you have, meaning us, to use you in the future and pulling you out of programming and putting you into more ME type roles and project management type roles. He said, how do you feel, or how do I feel about your worth at that point? And I said, I think that you've done a good job with everything, but I just don't have a whole lot of a frame of reference,
Yeah,
right?
no, and that's
Because
fine.
everything you've been doing since I've been taking over has been, you know, programming type stuff. So, but I did say that I thought that you did a good job at standing up the equipment and that type of stuff. So, and he said, okay, well, I told him that I would talk to him, so let me just have the conversation with him. And I said, that's fine. So I thought that he did mention, you know, waiting until May, and
Yeah.
I kind of disagreed with that. Because it'd be like, you're waiting until May and then you're gonna get another one in July. To me, it's just us talking.
Yeah.
It feels more like, you know, you wait as close as you can to get to that, you know, typical, this happens at this time, and then that just gives you the ability to say, well, you just got something, you know. So.
Yeah, and that's what I was a little worried would happen too after the conversation with Pete. And I guess I'll be honest with you guys. I kind of put I guess I'll call it a timer on site for the MA position. Because Katie's accepted an offer in Johns Creek as a PT. She starts in July or so, and so I was kind of waiting till that June mark to maybe re-examine things and see if correct is where I want to be thinking.
So, and I appreciate you saying that. All of us is where we
That's
need
why
to
I'm
be.
telling you guys, because I trust you guys. That's what I
So,
I'm hoping for a little discretion there.
So, with that being said, what don't you like about, first of all, what did they say that they want you to do?
Hmm?
What did they tell you that
what
they
did
want
say?
you to do?
Oh, I mean, they want to see more, I guess, project management leadership out of me. Well, I guess they want to see it, I guess, a little bit more concrete. I guess there's some kind of project coming up soon. That's,
So, they didn't tell you that they wanted you to just be doing programming?
nope,
So, how do you feel about that?
doing what?
Just going into programming, just doing programs?
I mean,
Like reporting to, not me, or Alex, but to,
Not to anybody in this building.
I mean,
to basically you become the programmer for everything,
You'd be the like master programmer or whatever.
or here.
I mean, if, I would be okay with that if there's additional, responsibilities given to me as well,
Like,
I mean, like, something akin to Ron's position, like, CT program, not immediately, but like that's,
The path.
path that I want to pursue.
So what-
I enjoy the, I enjoy the very technical side of things. I like the, I spoke to you that like engineering management, the area I want to pursue, and there's definitely a big, there's a lot to gain, I'll say, in the sheet metal department still from my current state in a lot of areas.
So, if they told you that you were gonna just be doing programming and that you would take over all of that type of programming, maybe moving Kyle to, a different project, and that you would do, obviously you would do engineering.
Yeah,
but it would report to, what they mentioned was it would report to Ron.
because one thing that I've kind of learned about myself too is I will not be happy unless I'm continually challenged. And
So, do you feel that that is a role that you would do that?
not just a programmer, I would hate it if I was constantly, making new programs for the Vulcan, the turrets, lasers and such. I would hate that.
So, and this is just me and you
Yeah,
talking.
yeah, no, I
This is
know.
me and you talking. That's what you've been doing for a long time though, Zach, and I don't feel like you're unhappy right now. You're not very easily moved, I would say that.
Well,
So-
okay, I guess I disagree with that, cause
And that's what I'm asking,
The
are you
pa-
unhappy now?
I definitely would like to program less. Like, I enjoy the challenge, and I enjoy the learning, and I enjoy pushing the limits, but also, I guess some of my frustration is that I'm the only one doing that too, and I never really saw myself getting stuck in that position, if that makes sense.
So, what if it came with a higher pay rate, right? Like, say we said, Zach, you're going into programming next week, right?
Mhm.
And we're gonna give you an additional X dollars, right? Would that be sufficient for you? Or are you just not completely happy about the title and the work?
Yeah.
So there's
And
not.
it would feel a little too locked in for me, and I don't really see it'd need to be very clear to me what the progression and next steps would be.
And for you to make that work, that progression and next steps would look like.
How I can achieve that, leadership type role and such.
Alright, so if you were a master programmer here,
Mhm.
the same as Ron.
Well, Ron's programming manager, but,
But is that over all the plants?
just winder in progress. But,
So if you were the programming manager over here
do
and
you know what all
Swanee,
Ron, do you know what all Ron does? Before you answer that question?
I mean, I know he does do some, a decent bit, some day-to-day programming. But I also know that, he is doing that stuff where he's, pushing on the machines, combining them and such, working on the training, like foundations and protocols over there at Winder, which I like, and it's definitely a big need out there that I see as well. Like, you know, one thing I would like is have a defined training procedure and task, well, I would call it exam and task list for a lot of machines out there, because, you know, right now there's no quality control, I'll say, on operators from like shift to shift. How do you know that the 3K operator in first shift is competent? On like there's not a minimum level of competency defined. It's more so going up the side and, oh yeah, he's good enough, go for it.
Yeah.
For sure. So,
Hey, I'll call you back in a minute, but we're go on that. Hi there.
so I asked that because Ron has all, like, you see him here, him and Josh are kind of like right-hand men. They're like the left and right hand of the same person.
Yep.
So Josh is in charge of the project, but Ron is heavily involved. It's probably like 60-40. Josh and then Ron is the 40 for like any automation, because obviously the program team has to program the automation. So if they get 2 robot press rigs out there, that's going to be Ron's team programming them. So, you know, that can be a future path too, as the company has more that direction. But to that point, what if you were master programmer for here and Swan?
I mean, I guess Swan is just a 2 teams separate, right?
They're working on buying possibly a laser or high-end part.
I mean, is that something that you can see in your future and you'd be okay with?
I mean, yeah, I could see, you know, progressing down that line a little bit. You know, I still want to have the, I'll call it, I guess, I don't know if I want to call it freedom, or I guess the ability to take deeper dives into various things, like, you know, analysis of the punches, and to, you know, see if changing the punch profiles on a machine will gain us, you know, extra 20-30% capacity and stuff like that. And
So,
So you want to be programmer plus.
yeah, like I said, I will not be happy if I'm not continually, or
Well,
have continuous challenges.
if
and
you had to
problems
put
to
a,
solve.
obviously there can be like there can be some weeks where it's a lot more and other weeks where it's less, but if you had to put a number on how many hours you would program versus working on systems around the machines.
I would say, I would call it CI, right?
Yeah.
Continuous improvement, right? So you're programming as the lead of your responsibilities, but the continuous improvement around the programming, you know, with the equipment, what would you say your percentage has to be of that? What would you say?
Well, it's just because I know I will, well, I don't know how much I
Obviously
will.
it'll ebb and flow, but
Yeah, it'll ebb and
if we had
flow,
to
but-
amalgamate
Utopia.
across,
Well,
3 months.
probably on the, well, I guess utopia would probably be like, you know, a 1-to-3 ratio of, you know, 1/3 just programming and then 2/3 attacking challenges.
So I would say that's probably unrealistic. It's probably opposite, right?
Yeah.
2/3 programming, 1/3 challenges. Could be, you know, like, you know, bigger some weeks, smaller than next week's, but I would say that based off of my picture of the need of the company, that is probably closer to that.
Yeah.
So, what I think that they're trying to do is to alleviate the programming issues with current talent instead of taking the time to do the long road,
Yep.
What if this was a, what if this was a temporary, when I say temporary, I mean maybe in the next year type deal?
I don't know if I could do that for a year. Because even now doing this self-programming, I definitely, well, I think I undersold myself as well how long it would take. I didn't anticipate it would take this long to finish through all the self-programs too. Because each part is like a unique puzzle, but it's more of a frustrating puzzle that I've stopped enjoying for like a week now.
So what, without getting into too much of
Mhm.
the, you know, the cost of it, but
Mhm.
what is the advanced programming going to help when we're already programming parts at this point? So what are
Mhm.
you gaining by doing that?
The advanced programming,
Mhm.
hopefully to, you know, I did find the ability to do more parts that we didn't think were previously possible on the side, and then, you know, now make them possible. And, you know, I've really enjoyed the back and forth, like, you know, Damien, Ron, you know, Steve Berg on, you know, how we can optimize and design for manufacturing and such.
So that's part of programming too, though, right? So,
Mhm.
alright, yeah, we just kinda wanted to get a feel for what you were thinking in that aspect, because I think that they have a plan, and I'm not sure that you're gonna be happy with it
Okay,
necessarily.
yeah.
So we want to.
And that it was communicated to you.
Okay, yeah, because I'll tell you now, if I'm gonna be expected to, you know, program in Stryker for 20+ hours a week, I will hate it so much, so fast. Because I've programmed in Stryker before when I was interning, and I was interning, so I did not enjoy it either.
Yeah.
I enjoy, you know, like I said, really learning and figuring out how I can really push those limits, but like, I enjoy pushing those limits, but when the vast majority of the work is way down here, that's not when I enjoy things. Oh, sorry, when I say down here, I mean like down here in the challenge.
Yeah, let's just put it on there, it is what it is.
Yeah.
There's no real gains that
Mhm.
are to be had, right?
Correct,
So,
yeah.
Okay. Alright, well, let us talk to them and, make sure that obviously the need of the business is what's gonna be most important.
Mhm.
And then, you know, obviously what you want to do has to factor into that too. So we're gonna try to meet both.
Mhm.
So it might not be exactly where you want to be, but if I had to say today with what you're doing right now and the plan that we have and the
Mhm.
dollar amount that you would be satisfied in getting today,
Mhm.
what would that be?
Oh.
Okay.
I would be upset with you.
Sorry, one more time.
Where
what
do you
question?
think you should be?
Salary-wise.
right now?
Probably around 82 to 83. Or so.
That's